Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, my name is Tiara Amalia Dewi. Before we begin on the material, we must know the learning objectives from these educational learning theories. After learning this chapter, the student will be able to first comprehend the essence of behaviorism, cognitivism, constructivism, and humanism in a satisfactory way. Second, differentiate among the four educational learning theories which are suitable for certain students accurately. And then implement one or all the four educational learning theories in learning process based on students' needs to achieve the learning goals effectively. So, to become a professional teacher is not that easy. You should certain competence that relate to your job. There are four competence that a good teacher should have. They are pedagogical, professional competence, personal competence, and social competence. And then learning the theories of learning, one of the ways to fulfill your pedagogical and professional competence. They are four overarching paradigms of educational learning theories present here: behaviorism, cognitivism, constructivism, and humanism that will be discussed in this chapter.
Behaviorism. As simply psychology puts it, behaviorism is only concerned with observable stimulus-response behaviors, as they can be studied in a systematic and observable manner. Behaviorism is sometimes called a traditional theory. Behaviorism focuses on the idea that all behaviors are learned through interaction with the environment. This learning theory states that behaviors are learned from the environment and says that innate or inherited factors have very little influence on behavior. Michael and Zepkio, 2010, summarized behaviorism as follows. The theories are Thorndike, Pavlov, Watson, Guthrie, Hull, Tolman, and Skinner. Theories and instructional models: Pavlov classical conditioning, Skinner's operant conditioning, Thorndike laws and connectionism, construct learning, individualized instruction, information processing model. Assumption about knowledge and learning. Knowledge is an objective reality to be obtained. Learning is a change in behavior, and the goal of teaching is to produce behavioral change in desired direction. Emphasis is on the relationship between observable, measurable behaviors and environmental variables. Locus of learning. Stimuli in external environment, internal cognitive structuring. Learning is in relationship between people and environment. Teacher's role: expert, knowledge source, arrange environment to elicit desired response. Student's role: passive, consumer of knowledge. According to behaviorism, the learner is a responder to environmental stimuli, a tabula rasa shaped by reinforcement. Instruction and assessment. Instruction and assessment is teacher-centered and criterion-based. The purpose of instruction is to elicit the desired response based on a stimulus, e.g., automatically performing a specified procedure. Knowledge obtainment, retention, and reproduction, recalling facts, is key.
My name is Risdika Kuratua'ini. I would like to explain about cognitivism. Cognitivism explains learning as based on understanding. Cognitivism is a learning theory developed by Chen, in which a child developed cognitive pathways in understanding and physical response to experience. This theory focuses on how to store and retrieve information, Learning is attained through result and conscious use of the information. Retention strategies such as breaking down information and comparing the information to long-term storage are great techniques. Bloom's level of understanding and action. The first is remembering. Define, list, recall, repeat, and state. The second is understanding. Classify, compare, describe, explain, and summarize. The third is applying. Apply, choose, construct, demonstrate. The fourth is analyze. Analyze, contrast, and critiques. Fifth is evaluation. Argue, assess, evaluate, judge, recommend. 6. Creating. Create, compose, construct, develop, design, formulate. Michael and Spapke 2010 gave a summary of cognitivism as can be seen below. Theories and instruction models. Dual coding theory, elaboration theory, and schema theory. Collins and Stephen inquired technique models, Keller's ARGS model of motivation, Merrill's component display model. Assumption about knowledge and learning. Knowledge is an objective really to be obtained. Learning is concerned with internal mental process, including insight, information processing, memory, and perception, and result and information in an organized manner in the storage in memory. Locus of learning. Internal cognitive structuring. Teacher's role. Responsible to structure content of learning activities to assist students in reorganizing information in all optimal manner for assimilation. Works to establish communities of practice in which conversations and practice can occur. Student's role. Active processor of information. Instruction and assessment. Instruction and assessment is independent, contextual, and reflective. Instruction aims to assist learner in using strategies that result in change in thinking. Instruction occurs. The goal of instruction is for students to develop capacity and skill to learn better.
Constructivisms. Constructivisms posit that learning is an active process, and the learner is a constructor of knowledge. Learners construct their own understanding and knowledge of the world through experiencing and reflecting on those experiences. More specifically, learners construct their own reality or at least interpret it based upon their perceptions of experiences. So an individual's knowledge is a function of one prior experiences, mental structures, and beliefs that are used to interpret objects and events. Good and Broby, 1990. Michael and Chapke 2010 summarized constructivism as follows. The theorist, Dewi, Pygotskyrat, Paget, Brunner. The theories and instructional models, situated cognitions, social cultural learning, case-based learning, discovery learning, distributed learning, problem-based learning, VBL. Assumptions about knowledge and learning. Knowledge is constructed through environmental interaction and it is embedded in the context in which it is used. Knowledge is collaboratively constructed and meaning is individually imposed. Locus of learning. Learning is in relationships between people and environment. Teacher role. Facilitator, guide, collaborator. The next is student's role. Active constructor of knowledge. The last Instructions and assessments. Instructions and assessments are student-centered, collaborative, and customs to learners' prior knowledge. Authentic assessments. Portable use contextual, case-based projects, authentic text, and dialogue are primarily instructional strategies. Instructions is a process of spreading knowledge constructions rather than communicating knowledge for the purpose of a product.
Number 4 is humanism. Humanism focuses on individual as the subject and asserts that learning is a natural process that helps a student reach self-actualization. So we can say humanistic learning is student-centered. So students are encouraged to take control over their education. They make choices that can range from daily activities to future goals. And students are encouraged to focus on a specific subject area of interest for a reasonable amount of time that they choose. This theory states that the student is the authority on how they learn, and that all of their needs should be met in order for them to learn well. For example, a student who is hungry won't have as much attention to give to learning. So, schools offer meals to students so that need is met and they can focus on education. The humanistic learning theory was developed by Abraham Maslow, Carl Rogers, and James F. T. Bagandal in the early 90s. The humanistic learning theory developed further and harnesses the idea that if students are upset, sad, or distressed, they're less likely to be able to focus on learning. This encourages teachers to create a classroom environment that helps students feel comfortable and safe so they can focus on their learning. Emotions are the center of humanism with psychology. The principles of humanistic learning theory. There are several important principles involved in the humanistic learning theory that all lead to self-actualization. Number 1, student choice. Number 2, fostering engagement to inspire students to become self-motivated to learn. Number 3, the importance of self-evaluation. Number 4, feelings and knowledge are both important to the learning process and should not be separated according to humanistic psychology. Number 5, a safe learning environment. Humanism concerns individuals' growth and development and put emphasis on affective factors. One of these factors is motivation. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a theory of motivation, which states that 5 categories of human needs dictate an individual's behavior. Those needs are psychological needs, safety needs, love and belonging needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. Yeah, we can see in the picture, so the human needs under the basic is psychological. Yeah, like breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, excretion, and then the next step is safety, security of body, of employment, of resources, or of morality, of the family, of health, safety of property, and then love or belonging, friendship, family, sexual intimacy, and then esteem, self-esteem, confidence, achievement, respect of others, respect by others, and the first, self-actualization, like morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, acceptance of facts.
Okay, finally we get to the summary part, so we conclude that behaviorism, cognitivism, constructivism, and humanism are among the most prominent educational learning theories that have influenced our daily lives. These theories have greatly influenced teaching, parenting, the so-called helping professions, which include teachers, counselors, psychologists and therapists Maslow hierarchy of needs. For example, postulates that people need to have their basic needs met and security before they can seek out more transcendent needs, food, such shelter, love, esteem, and self-actualization. So that's all we can say on this video, and thank you for watching.